All right, so we're back at another episode of the Stoic Squeeze podcast, and the very first guest that we had on was Dusty. Lost 300 pounds, and it was an incredible weight loss story and journey. And today our guest is another one of these incredible weight loss journeys. He's another Greek like me. We met on the Instagram. Is Niko, just smaller. And he's going to come on and we're going to talk some more weight loss and just talk about Niko's incredible story. So we got Lewis here as well. So welcome, Lewis. How you doing today?
What's up, D? Good to see you again. Niko, nice to meet you.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Yeah. And so without further ado, we usually go and do a little bit of a bio with our guest, Niko. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, like how we got here to this conversation. And
All right, my name is Niko Tombros. I go by the Shrinking Greek on Instagram. I'm obviously pretty Greek AF, as my friends like to describe me. And I did.
It's all
have,
Greek to me, Niko. And Lewis has been around Greeks his whole life now at this point, so he's half Greek, so just like me.
I can see the family resemblance, actually.
So let me guess, your family gatherings are really quiet. You're the quiet one.
No
of
one
the
talks
bunch.
loud, very polite.
Everyone's polite.
Absolutely.
No one interrupts anybody. Yep, I get it. When you say Greek AF, yep, exactly know what you mean. Yeah.
I mean, my name's Niko, so it's
Yeah,
Nick,
right.
and Nick and Nick and Nick.
Oh,
So one of the best jokes I tell, and I've gotten to speak at many of these Greek weddings, especially when a Greek is marrying a non-Greek, I'm like, well, here's one of the benefits of marrying a Greek. You only need to learn 4 names.
Yeah.
Niko, Costa, Niko.
And we're going to get into your... I was just going to say, we'll get into your story about your weight loss journey, but, Dimitri used to be Big D because he was big, but now...
No.
I'm sorry,
No.
I got that wrong. There's obviously a cousin. His name is Dimitri, and we used to call him Big D because he was the big one and he was the older one. Well,
He was 4 years older.
As we were telling you before we were recording, Dimitri has gone through some dramatic weight loss, but this Dimitri is actually the Big D. So to cause even further confusion, there's a small Dimitri out there who we call Big D, and this is small D.
Yeah. So Big D's about 150 pounds soaking wet, like 5'6", and for like my whole adult life, I'm like 6 feet, like 330 pounds, and he was Big D because he's older, he's 4 years older, so that's Big D, and I was Little D, and by the time we grew up, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got a buddy named Phil, and he's Little Big Phil for that exact same reason. Older but smaller, Little Big Phil.
There you go.
And just so you know, my youngest son, his name's Dimitri.
Yeah.
Of course.
Shock.
Of course. Yeah.
Like I said, Niko, it's all Greek to me. So.
Well, back to you, man. So, where do you want to start with your story and your journey, and get us up to speed on where you're at today and why they call you the Shrinking Greek?
Well, I guess the story is, I was big all my life. I think about 5 years old is when I started putting on weight. And I remember being younger and my mom trying to get me on diets. And I've tried every single diet from, Atkins to keto. I had gotten up to 333 pounds as my heaviest weight. I was vegan at 330 pounds for an entire year.
And how tall are you?
Trying, and I'm 6'2". I mean, I'm big. But I mean, I tried everything, from the Nutrisystem, not to plug any things, but, Nutrisystem, the Shakeology stuff, to just eating a salad, right? Because it's gerbil food, so you should be healthy if you do that. Like, I have done it all, and luckily I wasn't one of those guys that was big and very uncomfortable. It didn't hinder me from anything. I had kids, I had a family, I had a career and everything, and I'm grateful that it really didn't bother me so much. It really didn't affect my self-esteem. I'm sure there were things growing up that affected my self-esteem because of my weight, but nothing really hindered me from, tackling the world, so to speak. And then about, I don't know, about 2 years now. My mom, it was her 64th birthday, and I looked over at her, and I was just thinking, I'm like, when I'm 64, like I'm going to be dead soon. I'm going to have a heart attack and die. And it wasn't like some doom and gloom. I wasn't like upset by it. It was just a thought that went through my head, like I'm going to be checking out close to that age. And it didn't hit me till about a month later. I don't know why I thought about it, but a month later, I kind of replayed that scenario in my head. I'm like, dude, the fact that you're okay with that is a problem. The fact that that's not a big, thing
Motivator, yeah.
is an issue. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to die then, so I should probably like live my life to the fullest now, And I had a friend that I met through a business that I used to own, and I had seen him on Facebook, and he was, just as big as me, and then he was like 185 pounds. So I reached out to him like, hey man, like, what the hell did you do? And he was like, I actually had, VSG surgery about a year ago. It's been great. And I'm like, well, what's that? I mean, I knew there were weight loss surgeries.
Yeah, just so for people that don't know, tell us what VSG means and what you
Correct.
got.
So I'm like asking him, well, what's VSG? Like I knew it was a surgery, but I wasn't sure. And he said, oh, it's the vertical sleeve gastrectomy or gastrostomy. I don't even. Gastrectomy, I think. I don't know. Someone knows. There's a doctor somewhere.
Some Greek word.
Yeah.
I play one on
it comes
TV.
From the Greek,
yeah.
It definitely comes from a Greek word, 100%.
Like they all do. Yeah.
So, I was kind of intrigued, and I asked a couple questions, and he's like, if you have any more questions, let me know. And then I asked some more questions. And I thought about it, and, I wasn't sold right away at all. It actually took me a while, but what I did come to realize was, what I've been doing for my entire life, on and off, it just wasn't working, right? And maybe it was possible to go listen to someone else's opinion, right? The doctor. So I made this appointment with his surgeon. I don't want to plug them, so I won't say it, but they're a really prestigious program around here. They've done the most of these surgeries by far. All the sports team in my area use this hospital and this team of surgeons, not for this exact thing, but so I went there, and I think really the biggest thing for me was that I walked in with an open mind. You know what I mean? I didn't walk in going, I'm having this surgery. I didn't walk in saying, I'm not having this surgery. I walked in saying, you know what? Let's hear what the experts have to say, because I'm just not doing it. You know what I mean? And I went in and I had a consultation, and basically they explained to me, this is what it is. And the cool thing about it, I felt, was that, they really explained that the rest of the world has been doing this for the past 30, 40 years, especially in Europe, where they remove about 85% of your stomach. Here in the States, we like to try to be the best and like kind of, reinvent the wheel. And, we had been doing the bypass and, putting like restrictor bands, and they really found that those were really bad, putting foreign objects in the body, unless it's a necessity, like a joint or something like that, like is really bad for you. So they explained to me what the surgery was, and they told me, look, you got to go through a 6-month process. You have to change all these things, change your eating habits, start exercising. You got to see I have a nutritionist. I have a exercise person. I have a mental health therapist. I have a dietitian, to really, because it's not just one thing, just when you bake a cake, you bake a cake and you have a cake, but there's so many other ingredients, you know what I mean? It's not just let's cut out your stomach and you're fine, So from there, I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to have the surgery, but you know what? Like, I asked the doctor, I said, can I like start the process and then make my decision later? And he was like, absolutely. You want to take the classes and get all the information and start paying us, and then you decide you don't want it. We don't care. If you come back later, we'll just get it again. Which I understood. You know what I mean? I understand capitalism. So I said, yeah, let's do that. You know what I mean? Like, I will make my decision later down the road. I'm just going to start this process and see what happens, and that's what I did. The big thing that I say to people when they ask me about it are two things, right? It's trust the process and follow direction, and they told me from the get, okay, eat what you want to eat, just weigh your food and eat 10 ounces of your food. And that was the first quote unquote diet, if you want to call it that. Like, that was the first instruction. Like, let's make sure you're consistent with weighing your food, because they want you to get in the habit of weighing your food, because after surgery, guess what you're going to have to do? Weigh your food. So I did that. I kind of took it a step further, honestly, because I read further after the surgery, they're going to want half protein, half veggies. So I right away, I did kind of start, 10 ounces of protein, or excuse me, 5 of protein, 5 of veggies, or fruit. So I did that, and I lost about 15 or 20 pounds.
Is this pre-surgery or?
Pre-surgery.
Yeah.
Pre-surgery. So in about 5 months, I lost about 20 pounds just doing that. I was walking. They told me to get out and exercise. The myth that I always, I don't want to say it's a myth, but what I always thought I understood about losing weight, right, was cardio. And I got to do cardio. I got to run. I got to run. I got to run, and I got to walk. And what they told me is actually, like, there's no real statistics saying cardio makes you lose weight. What the statistic is cardio keeps weight off. So that's why they wanted me to walk and just keep moving before the surgery, so that I get in that routine, that it becomes just something I do, not something that I'm thinking about. So I would walk and walk and walk. They also told me that, let me back up. One of the main factors that really got me to really seriously think about having the surgery was when they told me at my weight, I was over 40 BMI. They said, when you're at 40 or above BMI, you're morbidly obese. And the doctor said, like, I'm not saying you're not going to lose weight. That's not what I'm saying. There's plenty of people that lose weight when you're that big. But when you're that big, if you lose weight, the likelihood of you keeping that weight off is about 10%. He was like, you could lose 100 pounds. It's just the likelihood of it coming back is very, very, very high. So that's what really got me to really consider, just listening to somebody who appeared to know more than I did about the situation. And I did see results from someone else. So I did the things that they told me to do. I lost, like I said, 15, 20 pounds, just by eating not even so right. I mean, I wasn't eating chips and stuff, but, sometimes I'd have pizza. I would just weigh the 10 ounces of pizza. And then you lose about 10, 15 pounds just from the liquid diet. You got to do a 5-week liquid diet, 2 weeks prior to the surgery, and then 3 full weeks after the surgery. So I went in, my height weight was 313 pounds. I went in at 299 to surgery. And then when I came out,
was there any talk at that point of them canceling? Is there any hesitation? Because you were doing really well, honestly. You were doing all the things that.
No, there was no. Yeah. I mean, the only cancellation maybe was because it was COVID times. But
when did you get the surgery?
No, I had the surgery September 24th of 2000.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
so really in a good window of end of, or the break. I call it the COVID
this
break.
This is going to come out soon, but sometimes there's a lag. Today's January 13th of 2022. So when was that? So about a year and 4 months ago?
A year,
5 months ago?
Yeah, year and 3 months.
You said 2020, right?
Yeah,
not
4
2000.
months. 2020.
Okay. I thought you said 2000. I'm like, 22 years ago.
Oh no!
I don't. Man, you look good. What other surgery did you get?
I will say this though, if you look at pictures from me from before and now, it looks like I'm, 5, 6, 7
Sure.
years younger,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
just
yeah,
from losing
yeah.
all
I
that
saw
We'll
weight.
the
definitely
pictures.
post
It's
your,
really odd.
yeah.
I mean, I was always a baby face for sure, but like now, I'm like, I mean, I'm not old, 37 years old, but I feel
There you
27.
go.
You know,
So your peak was when you started talking about the surgery. You said you were around 330 pounds. You were trying to be vegan. Was that your peak? You said weight wise.
yeah, my highest weight ever was 333, but usually I fluctuated anywhere between 300 and 330 pounds
Okay.
for years and years. I'd say for at least 10 years, that's just what I was.
Yeah, we're about the exact same. My story is really quick. Anyone who hasn't heard it, if there's anyone new coming on, is I started putting on a lot of weight at the end of high school, and by the time I graduated, and I played sports throughout high school, so that kind of kept me, in check to a certain extent. And then I would go on like the chubbier side, and then sports season would come and lean out and whatever. But by the end of high school, I was at around 240 pounds, and I stopped playing sports, and I started working full time, and I had about a 3-hour drive, like in every day, just Chicago suburbs traffic and such. And I put on 70 pounds in 3 months. I ate fast food like 2-3 times a day. I drank regular pop all day. So, and then ever since then, I basically floated around 300 pounds. By the time I was 25 on, more or less, I was 300 plus pounds, and my like standing weight was between like 300 and 330, and I'm a few inches shorter than you. I'm like 6 feet. So when I finally started to, get my health in order, I had some bouts where I would lose like 50 pounds and gain it back like pretty quickly. And, like every year it was getting worse. I was already in my 30s, starting to really get like some like serious problems. I had bad eczema. I had like huge like IBS problems. Like just leaving the house was a disaster. Always had to make sure there's a toilet nearby, and just terrible eating, terrible diet. Almost to the point where I had to have the extender on a airplane. So those adult trips to Greece when I was 300 plus pounds were not fun. Anyways, end of 2018, I finally really have the biggest like health push of my life. I did really well on a ketogenic diet, and basically lost 100 pounds in 9 months. It worked really well for me, and my version of it was very healthy version. In all honesty, it was a lot of meats and a lot of vegetables, a lot of olive oil for my fat. So definitely, healthier stuff. And that's why I think I was able to be successful on it, because it was something that I enjoyed doing. I wasn't suffering. And then the only thing that I incorporated was basically walking. I made 10,000 steps a day, like my minimum, and I basically hit it every single day, no matter what. And then I started doing push-ups and body squats and such. And my weight losses when I was younger, it would be more because of my physical activities, going to the gym and really ramping it up. And this time it was quite the opposite. Like my physical activity ramped up compared to where I was just at, but it wasn't, like athlete type stuff when I was younger. And that's the thing that I struggle with the most now, is getting into an effective workout routine. But the last few years, doctors were really starting to talk to me about considering having surgery done. And obviously, it had been over a decade before I had able to get anything under control. And since then I've been learning a lot more. I'm actually more of a cautionary tale at this point, because I've kind of yo-yoed since the end of 2019. I got back up to like 288, and even just looking at like my weight fluctuations like this year, it's just been pretty bad. I haven't like gained much weight, but I'm like losing and gaining the same 20 pounds without getting on a really good routine. And the one thing that is very inspiring is talking to people like you and some of the other experts, and just learning more about this and getting the tools that hopefully are going to be successful going forward. And that's why, like, honestly, I love stories like yours, and we'll get into it in a second, because the surgery, and I think the layman person who doesn't know much thinks, well, yeah, of course they're removing part of your stomach. Like, obviously this is how you're losing the weight and everything else. And it's not even close. Like, it's just the surgery could be so ineffective if you're not going to do all the rest of the things. And when I see like people like you specifically just looking at you, like you are glowing, like you look so healthy, it's ridiculous. And it's because of, all the stuff that we'll talk about in a second that you're doing. And I see you post about like every day. And I mean, your surgery wasn't even that long ago. So really seems like, this has been remarkable. So back to, sorry, that's my long rant.
Well, I have a question, Niko, before we get into the specifics of the surgery. You mentioned that you named off a bunch of different diets. And, like Dimitri said, I have a background in personal training. And when I worked at GNC, we sold a lot of supplements, and I saw every brand of diet come and go. When I started, we sold a ton of Atkins, and that turned into South Beach. And then, we sold raspberry ketones and whatever, whatever Dr. Oz or whatever the latest diet, was popular at the time. That's what people came in and bought, and it was just same people, different products, different diet. And you mentioned a few. So why do you think they didn't work for you?
I don't know. I guess it wasn't, I'm not a nutritionist, but I don't want to sound cliche, but like diets to me, they don't seem sustainable. The idea of a diet is something you do and then you stop it, right? And like that's not what that's not what they told me to do. They told me to change my lifestyle, and to actually become something different, not just, a diet starts and a diet ends as far as I'm concerned. And this is definitely not a diet. I mean, yeah, it's a great kickstart. I actually posted about this not too long ago, but what the surgery did was make my stomach small. What the surgery does not do is make me, have healthier choices when it comes to food. It doesn't make me, get up and go for long walks or runs. It doesn't make me go to the gym every day. It doesn't make me weigh my food. It doesn't make me keep healthier, quote unquote snacks. Like last night, it was 9:30. I was hungry. I came downstairs. I had some hummus and green peppers and red peppers. Like that's not
You're not going to get
surgery.
obese eating that ever.
Yeah, it's just not. That's just the surgery can't do
Yeah.
that. I mean, did the surgery make me feel more confident because I saw results and propel me into, hey, this is working. The things that the doctors told me are working, so I'm going to keep doing it. You know what I mean? Almost like that negative cycle that we used to have where we eat food and then we're depressed about it, so we eat more food to get the the pheromones or whatever the technical term is up and all that stuff. Like now it's you lose a little bit of weight and then you get the result and you're like, yeah, well, if I go for a longer walk tonight, maybe that'll help. And if I wake up an hour early to go to the gym tomorrow, maybe that'll help even more. I just, that's what's worked for me. I mean, when I was younger, so I played football and lacrosse, and I played lacrosse in college. But when I was younger, 15, I was in the gym all the time. I haven't gone to the gym in like 15 years or so. I go to the gym 6 days a week now. And not because, yes, because that's what is suggested. Well, they don't suggest 6 days a week. But I like it. It gives me more energy. I feel better. I just want to continue. My thing is like, that saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, I say if it's not broke, don't break it. Like I just keep doing it. You know what I mean? Like the results come. So why am I going to stop? Why am I going to stop doing what's been working for me and like has changed my life dramatically?
Do you think that people in the U.S. don't get the surgery too, besides the stigma about it? But it seems like in the U.S., you got me thinking about what you said, that people think that they need to will things to happen and just, they shy away from the help, whether it be surgery, or you mentioned kind of that you had an entire team to help you along the way too, a dietitian, a trainer, a mental health therapist. Like we look down on those things for some reason in this country, and instead, we should celebrate people that have these kind of resources. So, can you talk about some of the resources and how that helped you besides, the education, of course? Like what did the mental health therapist do for you?
So the mental health therapist, I think, is a really important part of, is the whole process. Because I had looked into a couple places, but this place was like really accredited, and they had this whole team of people to address, I would assume their mindset is like, we're going to make this or have this surgery done for you. And like, that's going to like get you to lose weight. But if we don't take care of all the other things, because, it's not just you eat too much. Like there's a reason why I ate too much, it was all the other stuff. And that was really the catalyst, I think, for the reason why it's been so productive. I had to go through a mental health screening, because they want to know, like, if you're I don't know if you're too emotional, that's not the word, but if you're just not susceptible and open-minded to listen to these, changes and actually do some of the stuff, like we're kind of doomed to fail, like we said, the surgery is going to remove, 85% of your stomach, but you can still wake up and choose to eat ice cream if that's what you're going to do. The other people that help were definitely like the dietitian, being able to read a label. Like I never, you think you're smart, right? And like you think, oh, I don't need to be explained how to read a label, but really, like I didn't know that, in the ingredients portion, the first ingredient, the reason why it goes from one to the end is the first ingredient has the most of it in it. And like, I didn't know that. So if the first ingredient is sugar, you're probably not doing so, and we really want to like learn, like for me, it's suggested, right? I'm not gonna say anyone says you have to do this, but it was suggested, like if it's 12 grams or more of sugar, you don't eat it. It's got to be less than 12. To take a look at that, take a look at the fats, take a look at sodium too, things that people really, or I wouldn't say people, things that I really didn't understand before, looking at a label. If I look at it and it says high calories, that's what I was looking at.
Sure.
I would assume 9 out of 10 people are looking at the calorie content of anything and not all the other stuff.
And I don't actually blame the general population for not knowing how to read a label. The food industry, in my opinion, does it on purpose. And they follow whatever is going to entice people to buy that food. For example, net carbs. Okay, that is a scam to me, at least, because there's no such thing. Carbs are carbs. But because the food label industry is able to use net carbs, they can subtract the actual carbs, and then in the front of the box they can say this is low carb now, even though they did some magic math to somehow subtract how many carbs are actually on the box. If anybody cares,
I do want to interject right now, and I know you're sick of my keto stuff, but when I did a ketogenic diet, I was specifically in the goal of trying to get into ketosis specifically, and I measured my blood ketones every day. And whether it's a like marketing gimmick or not, when I was trying to stay within those 50 grams of net carbs a day, I was in ketosis every single day, including eating like Rebel ice creams and like whatever, and I was like measuring it. So that's just one personal anecdote that like it for sure was doing like the correct parameters. And I understand completely what you're saying, and I understand that like being in ketosis like supposedly has like no magic benefits, like the fact that I was eating healthier and losing weight, and also from what I understand isn't unhealthy either, because there's people that think that it's like unhealthy. But I guess the biggest knock at it is it's not a great strategy for most people, because there's no way you're going to be able to adhere to it, especially long term. And if you're extremely physical active and you do like work out a lot or have a physical job and stuff like that, those lack of carbs are probably going to like make a difference. But if you're completely sedentary and doing nothing, It's definitely not unhealthy, especially compared to whatever nonsense way of life you were living before that, got you obese or unhealthy and stuff in the first place. But sorry, that's my little interjection on that. And like I said, my personal experience was I was in ketosis in those net carbs. So gimmick or not, it helps if you're trying to be in ketosis.
And they sold a lot of Rebel ice cream.
Yes, they did. I bought a lot of Rebel ice cream. So
the thing about diets,
I like Nick's ice cream. That's good.
Nick's ice cream. Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Okay.
Oh, it's so good.
Low
so
carb
good.
too, or
low carb, low sugar. It's a Swedish ice cream. It's really good.
I get my ice cream from this little health food store called Culver's. I don't know if you ever heard of it before. I'm just kidding. It's
Culver's is a Wisconsin fast food chain.
It's a custard
national.
It's a custard place here in Wisconsin.
All right, it's like Rita's here.
Yeah. My only knock on diets is that they point to the magic bullet on why somebody lost weight when simply it was a reduction of calories. That's it. If people just understood that, then choose a diet that works for you. It's going to reduce your calories. Understand that it's that, and that allows for more flexibility and leave some of the rigidity of some of these diets out there.
So after hearing Niko and Dusty talk in the past, and like even this, because your experience was a lot more recent, I'm starting to have more faith in the health industry when it comes to this, Lewis. At least like on this like surgical weight loss like level, it sounds like they kind of understand like all the needs, and I wonder how successful like modern patients are being, because I think the mental resources and just the overall picture, and like we've discussed before, like it isn't one thing. And Lewis and I have talked to people. Niko, there's a awesome guest we had, Dr. Melissa Davis, and she wrote this book called Evidence-Based Habit Building. And just think about like your story, and like, you changed your habits. Like you started already changing the habits like pre surgery. The surgery, like you said, definitely like helps now a little bit, especially in the physical, to like get you going. Like you got some immediate weight loss and some momentum. And then the habits kept evolving to the point where now you're working out 6 days a week, and like just even doing stuff beyond like their recommendations, and the fact that they had all these resources available, like nutritionists, dietitians, mental health coaches, and everything. Like it's kind of what it takes, because it's not going to be like one thing, and ultimately it's up to you to create those habits and change them. And that's why like I think your story is so inspiring, and stories like this need to be heard, because clearly the obesity problem is at such extreme levels where so many people suffer from this, and it seems so hopeless for so many people, like all these years of trying different diets and things that aren't successful and whatever. And this is just very encouraging to hear stories like this, and that at least like I said, on the surgical level, it seems like they know what they're doing at this point. That's why I don't understand why this doesn't translate to a general population like education level. I don't understand why our education on this is so dismal, and the general population doesn't understand how to read a food label, like we said. And it's not like we're stupid people, like we're not, you know what I mean? It's just something that we're never taught. And
Niko, you have a lot of go ahead.
No, please.
I was going to say you have a decent following on social media. What questions are they asking you? What do you see often that they want to know about you and how you succeeded in your journey?
Most of the time, well, unfortunately, a lot of the time that when people reach out to me, I just don't feel like they have that support system. Like I don't want to talk bad about other surgeons because I don't know them, and I don't know the ins and outs of their operation. But I will say that there's a lot of people I've found who, might not be in the best financial situation. So they go to Mexico or Tijuana to have the surgery. And like, if I chose, I don't want to say they or we, if I chose to do something like that, I'm not going to have all that backup. I'm not going to have that team in place. They're going to give you the surgery and send you on your way. And, I see lots of questions like, I'm eating this, is that okay? And in my mind, I'm like, no, it's not okay. But who am I to say anything, right? Like, you need to ask your doctor, like, if that's okay, because certain doctors have certain things that you can't do, and others, every doctor seems to be a little different. For instance, you know, some of us have to do the liquid diet, right, for 2 weeks prior and 3 weeks after. Some people didn't have to do a liquid diet at all. Some people, and then after 3 weeks, I went to mushy foods. And then from there, I went to like semi food and then regular food. You know what I mean? And some people are going straight to like, oh, I'm 3 days post-op. Look at my steak. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, oh, that's not, but then again, I'm only thinking that because of my experience, right? I'm only thinking that because of what my doctors told me. So it's just like, I don't know if I would be doing that.
Do you mind if we do talk numbers? Like, do you remember how much the
go
surgery
ahead.
cost and what insurance covered and what you had to pay out of pocket?
It was about, I have paperwork around here somewhere. I'm in my office. It was about 70,000.
And then insurance, what's out of pocket?
I had a $3,000 copay, and then I paid out of pocket. I just sent it to my tax guy. Another $5,400 on top of that.
So about $8,000 out of pocket and
Yeah.
you have decent insurance, I take it, because it sounds like
Yeah. I have good insurance. My copay is only $3,000 because I have a family and kids. Like that's for everyone.
Yeah, you maxed it out.
So if it was just me, it would have been a lot. It would have been a lot lower. So I do have good insurance. I do have Blue Cross Blue Shield, Care First, Blue Cross Blue Shield. They were really good. They did.
What do you know, just like out of the research or whatever, if you were to go to Mexico and get this done, or what they charge? Any ideas?
I think you can get it done for like $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah, and this
to fly down there, to stay in their hospital, and then come back, it's like $4,000 or $5,000.
And assuming all things are equal and the doctors are real doctors and professional and know what they're doing, like you said, I feel like this is like one of those instances where like you got to look at the resources and the stuff that comes with it. And if at this point, let's just say you're going to continue to be successful and you're not going to suffer from weight recidivism, and I think you're on a really good track, and you've already created some like habits that you're going to be like one of these long-lasting success stories. What percentage of this do you think is the actual surgery compared to everything else? Just for fun, I know this number means nothing, but
I'm going to give it 50. I'm going to give it
50
there.
Yeah.
I'm going to, I have nothing but really great things to say.
But what I'm saying, at the end of the day, it's like it's all the other things. So like without the rest of the support system, like the surgery statistic wise, right? Like traditionally, like these are very unsuccessful surgeries for the most part, because most people can't adhere to the changes and fall back into their habits that like cause them to be obese in the first place, and there's a lot of like health consequences that goes with that too. So
but I would I wouldn't blame that on the surgery. The surgery is going to do its job 9 times out of 10.
Yeah,
it's what I'm going to do after that, which is important.
Yeah, so if you give the give the surgery, if you give the surgery 50% and the person doesn't do the other 50%, that's an F. Yeah. That's a fail.
Yeah. Correct.
So you did your half, which is the other half of the pie, right?
Yeah, him and Dusty. I mean, honestly, like their stories are like so similar. It's not even funny. Just hit the ground running and never look back. And I mean, you're looking great. Like you're working out every day. You're posting like awesome videos. We got a little manga in the background.
Dimitri is running around in his underwear.
Dimitri, there we go. There's another.
Go
Dimitri.
find mom.
Typical
dude.
Dimitri.
Yeah.
And he's thin as a rail. He's thin as a rail, of course.
So
his mom is half Korean, so
cool.
He's got good genes.
Very go.
Tiny little Dimitri.
There you go. So what's your training regimen like? What did you learn from your trainer? And you said you work out 6 days a week. So what do you do when you're spending time in the gym?
I do everything really. Well, not everything. I mean, there's a million, exercises, but I have a whole bunch of stuff on my phone. I got a friend of mine who's like a bodybuilder, So he's written me up plans. You know, the office, the surgeon's office, they didn't really go into what specific workouts they want you to do, except for core workouts. They really want you, very big emphasis on the core workout, which I appreciated because, I completely forgot about this. So as a big guy, and Dimitri, I'm sure you can relate, like as a big guy, I for years and years and years, I kind of had a slump, because of the weight on my back. And after the surgery, my back started hurting like pretty badly. And they were like, honestly, dude, it's because you're not sitting up straight, because you're so used to all that weight.
So honestly, I have a big problem with this, and especially it's very noticeable in my before and after pictures. And I mean, I've never photographed myself so much in my life the last few years, like with the weight loss journey and social media. But I have a legit hunchback. It's something I'm very conscious of. It's probably, all the bad habits with the weight. And this is something I really need to start taking seriously, because this is just going to get worse. And Lewis has showed me some stuff with like posture exercises and stuff, and I really need to incorporate that and make it a habit every day. So do you do anything specifically for this? Like, how bad do you feel like your posture got after surgery, and are you doing anything to...
I haven't done anything in a few months as far as the core exercise they taught me. I think it's called like bird dog, and I forget the other thing. I forget the poses names, but I kind of felt like I was doing yoga, so it kind of felt weird. I'm
a huge proponent for yoga for someone who doesn't do yoga. I'm all talk, man. Like, seriously.
I haven't tried it, so I don't know.
I love bird dogs. I actually have bird dogs in my program.
Niko, you need to get into yoga. Like, honestly, I'm a firm believer. I'll send you some stuff on Brett. Like, it's the missing link. Like, it'd be like a complete package. Then you'd be clicking on all the health cylinders.
For anyone that knows,
I know it sounds super woo, but
for anyone that knows, he has not done a single day of yoga in his life. But
Never.
He's the biggest fan of yoga. So
I am.
Hey,
he's heard good things.
Yeah. I've read some books.
But yeah, bird dogs help me a lot, actually, Niko, because I have a tight SI joint, which is the joint right below, like right around your butt area, right above your butt, and it gets kind of. I sit all day at work, so it gets tight, and that kind of helps move kind of that joint for me. So actually, that's a good exercise. You should do it.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, if ever my back feels a little funny, I'd definitely do it, but it's been a while.
So what about nutrition? What are your keys to success now with nutrition? Do you do food prep? Who's doing the cooking at home, and how are you sustaining your
What's your souvlaki game, bro?
So, I got the best souvlaki game.
All right. Let's talk meat. What are you using for meat?
Ready?
Yeah.
First, I get in my car and I drive to the airport. And then I get on a plane and go to Greece.
That's the thing, buddy. You're doing it all wrong.
That's the only good stuff.
No. So we sold the best souvlaki on earth, the famous Sparty's Gyros. We had Greeks come in every single day for years, tell us it was the best souvlaki they ever had, better than Greece. And here's the thing. This trip to Greece, I really went and talked to some souvlaki experts and stuff. Like, seriously, I talked to everybody there. They use very cheap meat for their souvlaki. It's tasty, but they use like anything from shoulder to neck or whatever. We were legitimately using sirloin rib ends, dude. So, I mean, we're using the creme of the creme, of the pork, you know what I mean, for our souvlaki, and it was to die for. And then we would use, real, olive oil, Greek olive oil for our marinade and nice lago lemon. So, trust me, Lewis and I are two of the best souvlaki makers on earth, and that's just a fact, Jack. And, seriously, all the hardcore Greek customers we had all told us the same. And at first I was like, whatever, we're not in Greece, blah, blah, blah. But the Greek gyro is so much superior to the American gyro. So anyone doesn't know, in Greece, gyro just means spin, okay? So it's the rotisserie motion. And obviously it's a slow cook. It's cooking it, and it's stacks of traditionally pork. They didn't even start doing chicken until 20, 30 years ago. And so it's real pieces of pork that's slow cooked on the rotisserie, and they're cutting off chunks as it goes. And then the gyro that the Americans are used to was actually made supposedly in Chicago. Even Wikipedia will confirm this. And it's basically majority ground beef and then a little bit of lamb, about 80-20 split. Most people think it's all lamb, but it's not. And it's like kind of like a big meatloaf. And honestly, there's a bunch of nonsense in it. It's one of the most like processed Franken foods ever. It's delicious, don't get me wrong, but the Greek gyro is significantly different, and I think like much tastier, and just that's like my favorite thing to get when I'm out there. So I did a lot of
souvlaki pita. That's what you need to order if you're ever
and
in Greece.
That's what I brought. That's what I brought to the States, and like it killed. Like everybody loved it. Like we cooked it fresh, so it took like 15 minutes per order, but people waited, and yeah, it was amazing. So
well, back to your nutrition habits, Niko. Walk us through how you sustain what you do today.
Absolutely. So breakfast usually looks like this. Either eggs, oatmeal, or yorti, which is yogurt, with honey on top. The Greek way, you get a small little cup and you put like this much honey on top of it. That way, when you go get that yogurt, it's covered with honey, the perfect amount.
I'm gonna send you some. I'm gonna send you some of my cousin's mountain honey, Niko.
All right. So that's my favorite is the yogurt. Honestly, I didn't used to eat yogurt like that, but it's a really good healthy thing to eat. So I like to eat the yogurt.
And we had Dr. Gabriel on, who's a gut biome expert, and she said, like legit, the only thing that really works for gut biome is Greek yogurt, and everything else is just like marketing and has good indications, but that is the only thing that actually does work on this podcast. So we're going to run with that, baby. Greek yogurt. It's the way to go.
And I think it's hilarious that American, like all of a sudden, they're like, ooh, Greek yogurt. It's so good. It's so great. I'm like, it's just strained yogurt, right? Like we strain our yogurt. You guys don't. That's all.
I seriously didn't know what the difference was until you just said it.
They just take the water out. They strain the yogurt. That's why it's thick.
Come on.
No, Niko, it's Greek. Therefore, it's better, dude.
It's because, Niko, it's made with Greek fire. You can't give away the secrets. Stop spreading this misinformation, okay?
I apologize. Please go buy more Greek yogurt, everyone.
Made from the Greek lightning that comes down from the sky. Yeah. Hey, so you mentioned...
But I weigh my breakfast.
I was going to ask you that.
And I was
going to ask, do you still weigh your food? Because you said you were weighing your
food. So what are you weighing now? So before, like physically, you would just weigh the total like mass of the food? Is that how they wanted you to start? And now what do you weigh?
Yep.
The same way?
Now I still weigh the mass of the food.
So 10 ounces of total food or... Go ahead.
No. Now I'm at 8 ounces. So when I had the surgery, it was the liquid diet. Then you get 2 ounces.
So you're not weighing the like break up macros then, or like calories or anything?
No. I'm weighing because my stomach is really small.
Gotcha.
And I can stretch my stomach out. That's why I'm not supposed to have the only thing. This is a funny thing, for people, like people ask me all the time, like, so you can't eat this and you can't eat that and you can't eat this. The only thing that I am never allowed to have again in my life, or I shouldn't say never, if I wanted to go to the store and buy it, I could buy it. Carbonation. That's it.
So no pop, no soda, no beer, no. What else?
Nothing.
Okay.
That's kind of a big thing, though. It's not like...
For me, it's not a big thing. I don't drink. Two, I loved Coke, but I loved Coke Zero was my thing for years and years and years. Coke Zero is so good.
New formula sucks.
Here's a question.
New formula sucks.
Hold on, let me raise my hand. I need to ask a question. Why do they still continue to make Diet Coke? What's the point? Who's buying?
I think the older generation.
I know people that like hate Coke.
The older generation that grew up on Diet Coke just got that acquired taste that they hate Coke Zero. But I hate Diet Coke, and Coke Zero is like it tastes just like Coke. Yeah.
So
except the new formula sucks. Yeah.
I was a huge pop drinker. Greek Coke is the best, by the way. You get Coke and Greece out of a glass bottle. It's better than the Mexican Coke, too.
Limonada and Portocalada. Plug. Those Porta Colada was my favorite drink ever. But I'll say, let me tell a quick story. I know I cut you off.
No.
So I'm in Greece over the summer, and my stepbrother lives there because my dad lives in Greece. And he's like, why haven't you had any Porta Colada? I'm like, man, because I can't, the bubbles. And he's like, so why don't you get the blue one? I'm
Yeah,
like,
Fanta Bluff, my brother's favorite.
I'm like, the blue? I'm like, because I don't read Greek.
Yeah.
I can't read Greek. I never went to Greek school, so I'm not.
I did. I could read it at a third grade level. I got you there, Niko.
And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean the blue one? Like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, the blue one is no sugar and no carbonation. And I was like, what? I've been here.
I didn't know it was no sugar.
He told me that. Yeah, that's what he told me. Oh, maybe he's lying.
Yeah.
Well, can't you taste sugar?
Confirm.
That's no, it's my favorite. My brother's favorite Fanta. Like I don't know why the pop out of the glass bottle legit tastes better. It's just probably nostalgia from when we were a kid. And I did have some Fanta when I was there in September, October, but I didn't have a Coke out of a bottle.
I have some in my fridge. I brought them with me. They're great.
The Greek ones. That's all. I used to buy the Mexican Coke ones that they sell at grocery stores or Costco. So I switched to Diet Coke when I was like 19 and like gained all that weight, and then I drank Diet for years. And then when the Coke Zero came out, it was just like immediately like, yeah, Coke Zero is like way better than Diet in my opinion. But I know people that legitimately like hate Coke Zero and like love Diet Coke. Like one of my former managers at one of my old jobs loved just Diet Coke, and yeah, so.
To each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm like, ugh, Diet Coke.
No, but that's interesting. I didn't know that about the carbonation. That would be a rough one.
The bubbles will expand your stomach.
I thought, and actually, I drink the least amount of pop that I ever have now. Like this last like year or two, but that was one thing I said that I could never give up, and in my weight loss journey, it was easier than I thought. So, yeah. I don't know. I wonder how much of a deterrent that is to other people. It's a brave move, man, especially when you have eating problems and you like pop is such a staple to so many people. Like whatever their carbonated drink is. Do you think you'd be able to do it, Liz?
I do enjoy like a Coke Zero or a zero sugar soda. Like, Niko, I try to eat pretty healthy. I do weigh my food still, especially if I'm like on a health stint. And I'm actually signing up for a men's physique show later this year, so I'm trying to be like really on it. So zero sugar soda is the one thing that like tastes amazing to me. Satisfaction from the carbonation, and guilt free. If I want a couple, it's not a big deal. So that would be hard for me to give up. Obviously, if you have
what would be
yeah.
the thing, Niko? What would be the thing that if they told you had to give up, you just couldn't do it?
Probably feta cheese, man.
Oh yeah,
Feta's up there. Dude. That's rough.
Come on,
my
man.
son's lactose.
Don't do that to me.
My son's lactose intolerant, like really bad, and even feta bothers him because some people can get away with it, and yeah, that's a rough one.
I will say this, as far as the drink, the one I will plug them, and I don't know if you guys have ever had this or have it where you're at, but Starburst has a drink called Only the Pink. Okay. And this stuff is a game changer, and I'm always telling people about it who ask me.
Well, my favorite Starburst, and don't they even have those like only red packages or whatever? It's the red ones. It's like the red and the pink and the whatever. Those are the best flavors, so that sounds like amazing.
It is a 0-calorie little powder, and it changed everything for me because I have to drink a lot of water as a result. I'm supposed to drink 60. I mean, I drink way more than 64 ounces. I'm supposed to drink 64, and especially right after surgery, it was hard to drink so much. And really, those little powder drinks are the only thing that would make it taste good enough for me to continue to just drink and drink and drink and drink. And I buy 3 cases at a time.
I've never heard of it.
I got them in my car.
I've never heard of it either. I got to try it. You sold me.
Yeah.
Tell Niko about the ghetto Kool-Aid in my house growing up, Lewis.
Oh, God, yeah. I was so disappointed eating dinner at Dee's house because his mom would ration out the Kool-Aid and, like, put maybe a quarter of the sugar in the Kool-Aid. And
it
then,
was like half the whatever the normal ingredients were,
Yeah.
like for sure.
Yeah, so it was
maybe
like
even
it was
a quarter.
it was like a faded red. You could tell because there's way too much water. And then you could only have 1 cup too. After that, you could not have any more. I was so pissed as a kid. So what else? What's lunch for you? How many meals do you eat a day now? Do you track Is there any macronutrient? Do you track it all, like protein or anything like that? Or
I don't track it. The protein, yes. So I drink 3 shakes a day, 30 grams of protein. So I'm supposed to get 90 grams of protein a day from strictly shakes.
Okay. What's your favorite brand, or what brand do you use?
Oh, 100%. I'm plugging all these people. Fairlife.
Oh, dude, Fairlife is good.
Don't touch anything else, in my opinion.
Have you tried caramel?
I have. Wasn't a big fan. It's
Is this a protein powder? Or?
It's a
pre-made
shake. Yeah, Costco
shake. Well, Costco doesn't. I go to Costco. Yeah. I drive out of the way to go to BJ's just because BJ's has the vanilla.
Oh yeah,
we don't even know what that is.
Versatile.
What's BJ's?
It's just like Sam's Club and Costco.
It's a East Coast thing. Us Midwesterners, right?
Who knows? We got Costco too, but Costco doesn't have that flavor.
No.
So I go to BJ's just to get. This. I'm telling you, the vanilla tastes like a McDonald's vanilla milkshake. Okay. So I would go out of my way.
How many carbs?
3, 4.
So it's low carb too.
Yeah.
Hold on. It's 8:00. That means I need a drink.
Yeah, I get mine from Costco, and they only have chocolate and caramel. I'm going to tell you one more brand, and that's okay, Niko. We can plug all the brands you want because they're going to sponsor us one day, anyways. So. While you're looking for it, Niko, I recently tried a new brand. It's from the company called Ghost, and they somehow got the trademark to like a lot of the cookies. So they have Nabisco chocolate chip cookie. They have Oreo, like the actual Oreo brand, and the actual chocolate chip cookie flavor. I kid you not, tastes exactly like a chocolate chip cookie, and their Oreo RTD tastes just like an Oreo. I don't know how they do it, but that's another brand that is in my rotation too.
All right. Well, since I'm here.
Oh, nice.
These
Singles
little guys,
to go. I'm gonna look that up.
Singles to go. I even got like the big ones.
Yeah, so those are just the strawberry. I mean, that's a great flavor for a Starburst. What's your favorite Starburst flavor, Lewis?
It's that one. I'm always.
I think I like red. I like the red one a little bit more. Whatever that is. Well, that's my second.
They have a cherry.
There we go.
All right, Amazon.
But
here I come.
It's all about the pink. It's all about the pink. Okay, so the Fairlife is 30 grams.
I'm gonna have to try vanilla.
Protein, 2 sugars, 150 calories, and I'm telling you, this is the best. I drive out of my way to get it, right? I tell people all the time because I actually stock up for other people who drink protein because they're like, "Can you get me some?" And I'm like, "Sure," because I go get about 8 cases a month. Because I religiously.
We're gonna get you a Fairline sponsorship,
dude. I drink at least 2 of those a day, Niko. It's the easiest 30 grams of protein.
If you have an espresso machine, I make espresso double shot and throw it in this bad boy.
I've done that with the caramel. There's like Target has this cold brew like shot thing, and it comes in shots, and you throw that with the shake. It's like the most amazing cold brew I've ever had. Never go to Starbucks again. Yeah. Sorry, Starbucks.
Yeah, I mean, I have a big, expensive, espresso machine. I'm like, I shouldn't buy this. I'm like, you know what? If I don't go to Starbucks, who cares? Yep. It paid for itself.
All right, I'm gonna have to find vanilla now.
Vanilla, I'm telling you, it's gonna change your life. Definitely change your life.
All right.
So I will say this about the eating healthy and stuff and weighing the food. I give a lot of credit to my team because they make little tweaks to everything, right? Like so I'm not timed, but I have one shake at 11 o'clock. So I wake up, take care of my son, get him to school, whatever, drink my coffee. I have to wait 30 minutes from after you drink to eat. I don't know if I mentioned that, but that is a thing too. You have to wait 30 minutes before and after you eat. So I eat breakfast about 9:30. 11 o'clock, I'll start, a normal person would want to snack on something. So I drink a protein shake. That'll get me through till lunch. I eat lunch. Always half protein, half veggies. Always. Generally speaking, I eat a lot of chicken and vegetables,
Sure.
Go ahead, Dimitri. I know you're going to ask me something.
How many calories a day are you getting nowadays?
I don't track my calories.
Do you have any idea though, like mental accounting?
Nope.
All right, give us your day. Me and Lewis are good at this, and just give us some weights.
All right. Say 7.5 ounces of straight Greek yogurt with half ounce of honey on top of it.
So we're at about, let's say, 300 calories.
All right, then you could just add all three shakes together.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so then a shake at 11, 150 calories.
So you're doing 3 of those a day?
3 of these a day.
So we're at 750.
All right, so at lunch I have, 4 ounces of chicken, 4 ounces of vegetables. Go ahead, boys.
200 calories tops. Yep.
2 o'clock. Have
no oils, fats to that? You're not cooking that in butter or olive oil or anything?
I will cook my eggs in olive oil. I don't usually use butter. I'm not a big butter guy. I'm not olive oil. I'm Greek. So my nutritionist always laughs at me. She's like, "You don't put butter in for your eggs?" I'm like, "No, olive oil, of course." So that 2 o'clock, I have another one of these because 2 o'clock I get a little hungry, so I have another one of these. Then 4 o'clock, I usually have an apple.
50 calories.
How many calories in an apple?
Calories.
Okay, so plus 50. 5 o'clock, I'll have, like today I had chicken and vegetables. It was in the form of tikka masala, a curry. I made a curry.
Okay.
And now I'm having this one.
So dinner maybe 3.
So here's the thing, like how are all these guys doing keto, Lewis? Like where's the carbs? They're in ketosis every single day.
Yeah, but that's not the reason why he's keeping the weight off.
I mean, he's for sure in ketosis.
Am I in ketosis?
Yeah.
But Niko, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The thing is, it doesn't matter.
How many calories? Yeah,
I don't know, dude. He's glowing because he's in ketosis. Dusty was glowing because he's in ketosis.
Right.
I was glowing because I was in ketosis.
So,
Tell me there's no magic in keto.
Fine.
Like, this is a ketogenic diet to, like, the max.
That's fine.
Like, Lewis, you need to get your glow on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I see that. If it was 1,500 calories of spaghetti, he'd be keeping his weight off too.
How does he work out 6 days a week and stuff? I don't even get this. Like, he's in a legit, like, 1,500 calorie a day, maybe 2,000 at the most, like, diet, and he work out 6 days a week.
Well, the reason
He's
why
killing it, man.
Yeah, Nico,
Like,
you have a perplexed look on your face.
Well, because I don't know. I don't. They kind of told me to stay away from.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't worry about macros. Don't worry.
I think
this is a big buzzword, like intuitive eating and stuff like that. But like how you're doing this all intuitively is like phenomenal. You're just running away with it and just not overthinking it, keeping it simple, doing what works for you. Created the gym habits, like relying on the experts, like not like you said. You went in with an open mind, like. Greeks, we tend to know everything, right? Like, I've known everything, like, always, right? And, the fact that you did everything right and, like, it's not even, like, you're such a model of success, it's not even funny. That's the whole thing. Like, the whole goal of this podcast and everything is hopefully we could have more people emulate you and not be afraid to go, like, seek advice and see what their options are. And especially if they've had a lifetime full of struggle and they're in the severely obese category like you were and I was, like, like do something, like make your life better. And, like, kudos to you on all of this. This is all just awesome. Like, it really is.
Where do you struggle if anywhere right now?
Struggle. Sometimes I like to eat popcorn.
Always gets you. No.
If that counts as a struggle, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, when I was in Greece for business, 2 weeks ago, I did eat a little bit of, cookies. You can't not eat cookies in Greece. At Christmas time, they're everywhere. The little,
the thing is, if I liked Greek sweets, I would be like 500 pounds. Thank God I didn't. Like, honestly, I think Greek cookies suck, but people do love them. Gudembiedes and all those walnut cookies. And so I'm lucky. Like, if I like sweets, I'd have been in big trouble.
So, I mean, that's it, though. Really, the popcorn, maybe. Because it's light, so I can eat like a bag of popcorn if I wanted to. But I generally I fluctuate between 205 and 210. I weighed myself today, I was 207. So, but I'm not complaining. You know, when they asked me, what's your goal weight, Niko? I was like, 240, 260, doc, I'll be happy. You know what I mean? I'll be happy. And he's like, no, come on. I'm like, no, really, like that would be a great success for me. Like, I'd be so happy with that. And he's like, well, can you like give us like a different number? Like, you know, because I'm thinking like, why is he gonna? I don't want to, shoot so low. But he's thinking this dude doesn't know what's about to happen. So I said, fine, 220, and like I blew that away like 9 months after surgery. But I like my weight. I don't think I want to lose, more weight. I like where I'm at. That fluctuation of 5 pounds depending on if I was on vacation, or if I was in Greece and I didn't go to the gym every day, and when I came back, I was 210. So,
do you have any new fitness aspirations or goals or anything?
I would like to do a pull-up.
Okay.
It's something stupid.
Look at this guy,
silly.
Niko, listen to this. Never done a pull-up in my life. I started the podcast when the weight loss journey got going with my brother. We started recording 12 episodes before we even ever released one, okay? Because honestly, I started a weight loss journey so many times and I didn't want to put it all out there and whatever. And then obviously had a lot of fun podcasting and went with it. My other 2 goals were to run a 7-minute mile within the year time set frame and do 1 pull-up because I never did a pull-up. And I completely shit the bed on the other 2 goals. I lost 100 pounds, but never even got going. So I'm depressed about it, and I don't even talk about it anymore. But that's literally been one of my goals for such a long time now. It's not even funny. And now I really feel like a bitch about it. And you're probably right there at this point. So
it's the simple things. But I see that's the thing. I don't even try. I think I tried the 4th month. I tried to do it. But I haven't tried to do a pull-up in at least 3 or 4 months.
Well, to further depress D,
and I'm kind of scared.
To further depress D, when you do one, put it on Instagram.
Yeah, no, do it for sure. I'm gonna
tag D.
You should. I honestly fat shaming works with me, so I really need some people to lay on me hard. They would actually motivate the hell out of me.
Yes, sometimes you need some harsh motivation. And I have a few friends that I had yo, every once in a while, just text me, what's up, fat ass, just because I need to hear that, because in my mind, I'm still that big dude.
One of our really good friends who was actually probably always our fattest friend, Blair, he lost a lot of weight almost 10 years ago now, and he's kept it off. So he got his shit together by himself, lost 60 pounds, and has kept it off, and I still have him, and my phone is fat. That's literally what he's in, and this is the era and the type of humor and stuff that we deal with. But
absolutely, I don't trust people who don't say something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the quiet ones you got to watch. The guy who says, "Oh, you motherfucker, what are you doing?" I like those guys.
Yeah.
If you're not talking a little trash,
those are your true friends.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I make D feel bad about
Lewis
himself
is kinda,
pretty much every day. So,
oh yeah,
good for you.
So that's the thing. It's Stoics say, be hard on yourself and be lenient with everyone else. And I'm the hardest on myself, so I don't celebrate the little successes anymore. I need to be farther along in my journey. And that being said, I'm only competing against myself, and that's great news for me. So I only have to be a little bit better than this piece of crap self tomorrow, and it's what people need to understand. Honestly, it's not about perfection. It's keep trying, and the reality is I've kept 100 pounds off for 2 years now. I mean, that's very good, and
absolutely.
Now I want to expand on it, and I want to accomplish more things, and I think that health is a cornerstone of our existence. It should be like one of the fundamentals of life that you should for sure prioritize and put effort into. And I want to embody that and not just talk about it anymore. So I want to lead by example, and you're doing a good job of carrying the torch. Lewis has always done a good job. Like, he knew at a very young age, like, you know, like Lewis says all the time, and my brother used to say all the time, like, I don't do things that an obese person or an unhealthy person would do. I do things like work out and eat healthy and these things, and they pay residuals and dividends in my life. And the joke of it is, and the trick of it is it's way easier to be healthy than unhealthy. It's way easier to like create the habits of like good health. Like, you feel better every single day. You feel more energy. You feel motivated. That's the magic to it. That's the trick to it. That's why, like, when people go on these weight loss journeys, like you or I, like, it carries. And
well, the habits flip. You know, when you're in the habit of unhealthiness, you're always feeling bad, right? Like you said, Niko, you feel bad, so you eat more. In my stage of my life, I feel bad when I'm not following healthy habits. So if I skip a day at the gym, you know, more than I want to, I feel bad. D kind of gives me crap because whenever we see each other, I'm kind of loose in my diet. It's usually like a family gathering or we're out to dinner or something. So like, I don't care. So deep, you know, but the other 90% of my life, I'm weighing my food, I'm hitting my macros, you know, I'm kind of eating the same things every day. When I don't do that for a stretch of time, I feel bad. You know, so like my mind feels bad for not following these habits. Mm-hmm. You know, and something needs to flip, you know, in people's minds, you know, to be so ingrained in those habits that it feels wrong not to work out. It feels wrong, you know, not to follow the right nutrition for you. Right, because I'll get loose. I'll get loose. Like I'll eat pizza. I'll go out. I'll have Chinese. I'll have ice cream. I'm not much of a sweet guy, but you know, D knows I love a burger and fry and stuff like that. But it's maybe once a week, maybe, you know. And I usually account for it. You know, meaning I'll eat a little bit less earlier in the day, knowing I'm going to go out to eat later, or something. Or if I had a big lunch, you know, I can account for it later. And you know, like you just saw. D's good at it, you know, but I can look at a plate and tell you the protein, carbs, and fat of, you know, a plate. And, you know, I over the long haul, you know, I'm within my own window of habits, you know, and I think that's the key for a lot of people. Like you need to be so ingrained in those habits that when you don't do them, it feels off, right? I'm sure it feels off for you too, Niko. If you're working out 6 days a week and, you know, you don't do it for a week, I'm sure you're like, man, this is messed up. I need to get back into my routine.
Absolutely. And I think that you're probably like me in the sense that, like, I've always been that person, like, if I'm not, like, doing something productive, I'm not doing anything. What's wrong with me? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's a gift and a curse.
You know, like, on the weekend, like, you know, my fiance, like, I just want to hang out and lounge around. Like that, it drives me crazy. I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I need to go clean the chicken coop. I need to go, you know,
you got your own
I have
eggs?
to be doing something. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's living, Niko.
Yeah.
That is a living. I'm very jealous.
That's awesome.
They're really good. Well, when COVID hit, I just built a chicken coop. I was like, oh, well, got nothing else to do.
How come you don't have eggs yet, Lewis?
I actually read a book on how to build a chicken coop when I was living in Bristol because I was this close on doing it, and then you know I moved now to Kenosha and just I don't even know if I'm allowed to do it here in where I live. Yeah. So, but in Bristol, a bunch of my neighbors had chicken coops, and you know they would give me their eggs and stuff. So
chickens are awesome. I always tell my girls, if you don't give me them eggs, I'm gonna take them legs. But they're not laying right now because it's wintertime.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They're surprisingly like easy to take care of. Just make sure they don't have frozen water, essentially, and like they're good.
Yeah.
They're little crazy dinosaurs.
They're good.
Yeah.
So what else? What else are the goals? Pull up. You got any aspirations to do some bodybuilding competitions or anything like that?
No.
I don't know, 2023 in the summer. Let's do one.
To what?
Why not?
Why?
The juxtaposition.
Just cause?
Why not?
I want to start like running races at some point. Like I did say this new year, I'm gonna like run at least a 5K or something. I hate running, honestly. I don't enjoy it.
Same here.
I would much rather lift. You know what I mean? I would much rather just be moving.
Well, all the actual PhDs that we've been interviewing on this podcast have all like undoubtedly conclusively say the same thing, that essentially muscle is king, and Lewis can expound to that like it's about as important.
The battle
overall health.
Yeah, the battle as we age is muscle loss. So getting older, of course, you'll die one day, but you're going to die way quicker when you have no more muscle and you can't even get up out of bed, or if you're so old and weak that one fall and that's it, you're done, right?
That's what it does.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
So
they break their hip.
Exactly.
And then
So muscle loss also leads to bone loss and also leads to metabolism slowing down. And there's even studies that show that technically your metabolism doesn't even begin to slow down until your 60s if you do things right. So it all revolves around keep maintaining and building muscle and maintaining your strength. So that is tied to nutrition and getting enough protein in, but lifting weights. People have to lift weights. And I mentioned this on the last podcast with our guest Bear, but I said, forget the diets, forget the, worrying about calories and all that stuff. Eat enough protein and go learn how to lift. Start there. And that's it. Do that for a while. Many other things will fall into place if you do that for a long, long time. And, sounds like you have it nailed down. You get your protein in and you lift. That's literally,
I know.
That's 80, that's 80% of it, and unless you're some kind of, professional athlete where every macro counts, or you want to do that for fun or something, but you're honestly doing 80 or if not 90% of what the general population or what most people need to do.
Yeah, I mean, you're just like
you're crushing the basics.
You're
crushing the basics.
Yeah,
a day in and day out.
And you look phenomenal too. That's why I just bring up bodybuilding. It's not like anything I was ever interested in and whatever. I just think that it would be an amazing juxtaposition of where I was once upon a time, and I would just want to do one and just like kind of for the fun of it. I wouldn't expect to do anything. Honestly, through this podcast. Yeah, I'm Greek.
He just wants to get lathered.
Pretty much. I mean, this is like Tuesday. Like this is like every day at my house. So what's the difference, right?
He can only wear that string bikini in Greece, so he just wants to wear it one more time on stage.
Don't walk in that yoga studio like that, right? Yeah. I'm here for the bodybuilding.
You guys wait until I'm a master yogi in the next few years. I'm on the bodybuilding stage.
I think do you have any goals with?
Yeah, so anyways, I'm planning on doing one in the summer of 2023. So basically about 17 months from now. So if you want to do it, let's do it. We could be the twin Greeks weight loss story. So
all right.
And honestly, you're almost there, man. Like with what you're doing, it would be a cinch for you by then. And we got the right people, if you wanted to take it seriously to train, because you would be an incredible story. You look so lean already. So you're at 207. What's your body fat at nowadays?
I don't know. I haven't done an in-body scan. I was supposed to do one 2 weeks ago, but because of COVID, they had to do a virtual visit instead of at the surgeon's office. I still check in with them. That's why they're great.
That's
man.
pretty cool.
I still check in.
Yeah, that support system is awesome.
It's been over a year, and we still check in. Right. I just got moved to every 6 months now, but I was at every 3 months.
And that's how healthcare should be. And honestly, when you look at the statistics and what obesity does to the system and diabetes and other lifestyle related diseases, this is the bargain of all bargains. The fact that insurance companies aren't killing themselves to try to get these procedures done with professionals like yours is beyond me. This should be the most common sense thing of all time to save money.
For them, yeah, for them.
Yeah.
So you're growing. I was looking at your social media, Niko, and it's grown, right? And you're pretty active on there. Do you have any specific goals on there, or trying to reach out to people?
Not really.
People are.
The reason why I created that was, when I got in the process, I would go on my computer and like look on like weight loss stories or the VSG, weight loss surgery, and it was always, nothing against them, but it was always women, right? And like, it's great to watch, the women's story and see how they're losing all this weight and they're looking great and they're having surgeries and, they're having this lifted and that. But I'm not a chick. Like, I'm a dude, like I wanted some experience with some guys telling their stories, and there wasn't that many guys. I have found more now since I started, mine. There's definitely some people that I follow that, I'm not one of those big inspirational people. Like, I don't know. I just think, at least in my case, like desperation has provided more growth than inspiration.
Interesting.
But with that said, like there's guys that I follow that, and I love seeing my weight loss surgery people in the gym. It just makes me want to continue doing what I'm doing. Like, oh, this person, they'll check in the gym and like tag me, and I'm like, not that I wasn't going to go anyways, but like I got to get to the gym and like, I got to show me at the gym. It's just accountability, right? It's just accountability. And luckily I have that for my team of surgeons and all that other stuff. But for some people, I guess they don't. And that's really what it was. Just trying to share my experience with the next guy who's thinking about it and not sure or wants to see someone else's experience with it, really.
Yeah, you said the desperation thing right now, and that I kind of resonated with that. And earlier, I forgot to ask, you mentioned on the podcast, or when we were talking earlier, that what kind of inspired you or made you think about doing this was when you looked at your mom, you said, shoot, I may not live much longer, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's a human problem, that no one thinks that thing, whatever it is, disease, heart attack, get hit by a car, whatever, is going to happen to them. That happens to other people, right? Cancer, tragedy, whatever. No one ever thinks that thing is going to happen to them, even though that thing, whether it be heart disease or whatever it is staring them in the face. As long as it's not an emergency, people don't do anything. It's usually, and kudos to you, but it's usually that heart attack or, that family friend that maybe was obese that, passed away, or something that hits you so hard that you can't ignore it. A light bulb hit you for some reason before it became actually urgent. You got, for some reason or another, you got a sense of urgency in you, and I applaud you for that most people just don't get. Most people don't think they're going to be the one that, like I said, got in that horrific car accident or got cancer or got a heart attack. That happens to other people. So that's kudos to you there.
Go ahead, D. I know you want to say
I was going to also just give you a kudos for your Wu-Tang mask, too, that I saw on your Instagram.
Oh, thank you. Yes, Wu-Tang Wednesday, always.
Yeah.
Life as a shorty shouldn't be so rough. What can I tell you? You know what I mean?
I tell my kids all the time, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to hug with.
I like that. Wu-Tang raised me. I love
Same here,
Wu.
dude.
Have you seen Wu Saga?
No, everybody tells me to watch it. I know.
Why are you?
I know.
Hang up right
I know.
now. Me and D got this. You got homework.
I know.
Go. It's so good. There's so much information. I was like, wait.
All right. You're like the fifth person.
Method Man played lacrosse.
I know. See,
are you kidding me right now?
D and I, we pretty much align on all music. Wu-Tang is like the one thing where we're not on the same page. Like, I'm a huge fan, and for some reason, D missed the Wu-Tang saga for whatever.
I know I'm in a vast minority.
For me, Enter the Wu-Tang, and some of the best music of all time. Like every single song on that album, is on my gym playlist. Every single song, like It's amazing. It's one of the best albums ever.
Yep, I concur.
And they're East Coast, so you probably like them even more. So
Yeah. I'm very upset. I was in the 8th grade and I couldn't go, but Wu-Tang and Rage Against the Machine at RFK, and I couldn't.
Well,
man.
I'll
What a
make sure.
allowed.
I'll make sure
I
when
wasn't allowed.
when I'm clipping this up, it's going to be all Wu-Tang songs. So
That's awesome.
Oh, just make sure you throw some ODB in there. And everything's good.
There we go.
Rest in peace. You know.
is ODB.
But I will say this. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, was he technically part of the Wu-Tang Clan?
Yeah.
ODB?
Yeah.
He's a founding member.
Yeah.
He was the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's recently, or not recently, but he's passed a few years ago. But yeah, he was.
Baby, I got
That's
your
okay.
money. Don't you worry.
One of his 30 kids is living his legacy.
I mean,
I saw one of those MTV shows where ODB was cashing a welfare check. You remember that?
Well, his album cover was him on the welfare card. I mean, he's brilliant. Brilliant. But back to what you were saying, Lewis, right? Like, I really believe I was given the gift of desperation.
Yeah.
You know, when I was looking at my mom and I'm like, "Hey, happy birthday, Mom! You're 64. Like, I'm gonna be dead when I'm 64." And like, the fact that a month later, I'm like, "Wait a minute, dude, that doesn't bother you?" You know, like that was really the catalyst that brought me to go.
There's a great internet meme, and it says, "You'll do anything for your kids. You'll sacrifice anything, and blah blah blah, but you won't get healthy."
Yep.
Mm.
All right, lightning round. Off topic. You're gonna have to choose which one's better. Bring the Ruckus or Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to F With.
Nothing to fuck with, 100%.
Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With or Method Man.
Method Man.
Method Man or Cream.
Don't make me Cream.
Okay. All right, you win.
All right.
One of the best beats ever.
That hurt. That hurt.
Cream, any of those songs better than Forgot About Dre?
Cream or Triumph?
Did you just bring Forget About Dre?
Yes,
Eminem into this conversation? What?
Dr.
All
Dre,
right, homework for you.
Snoop,
Listen to the entire
Tupac,
Liquid Swords
Biggie.
album.
No, I will. I'm gonna go deep. I'm gonna clip up at least 30 clips. It's all gonna be Wu-Tang, so we're gonna spread it all over social media, and that's how I'll get my Wu-Tang education.
Biggie over Pac.
We'll have Method Man on here to slap me.
So I'm in sales, Niko, and I literally closed the deal because we connected on Wu-Tang. I kid you not.
Nice. Nice.
So
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to F with, man.
Yep.
All right. So no, back to mortality. I think that's the thing that everyone's got to reckon with, and honestly, just like how we age. Like, why wouldn't you want to age better in like every single way? Health needs to be important. We need to do a much better job of teaching it, especially in this country, and think that the standard American diet and way of life at this point is like mass psychosis. There's no other way to say that for such an educated, like prosperous, like country in this day and age, in this time where we can get kale delivered to our door by pressing buttons. I mean, like, I know it's an extreme example, but we have every opportunity, and I don't know why I'm actually eagerly awaiting to see what the new statistics are going to be, because every single year it gets worse, and with COVID it's probably gotten worse again. So it needs to change, and that's one of the kind of like, goals if this podcast ever does anything. We just keep like inspiring people to get healthier and try to ultimately figure out like collectively like how we're going to change this. And I'm always interested in thoughts. So what are your opinions on like what needs to be done to actually start heading in the right direction collectively?
I kind of feel like there's not enough awareness. A lot of Americans, in my opinion, don't understand the beast that is America, if that makes sense. Everything, like it's like Texas, right? Everything's bigger in Texas. It's like, yeah, it's bigger than Texas, but everything's bigger in the States, right? Like
Yeah.
the cars, the homes. People don't understand like the amount of food that is brought to our table at a restaurant is not normal in the rest of the world. You know, like if you've traveled abroad, like when you go order, you know, something not even super great for you, spaghetti, like you're getting served a pound of spaghetti in some places around here, you know, because it's attract the customer in here to take the rest of the food with them just to get the sale, and it's just not.
We
We
prided
used to do
ourselves
that.
in serving the biggest portions.
Yeah, we would get compliments all the time on how big our Euro plates were. All the time,
Yeah.
how much meat and how much fries, and they'd be pissed about the tzatziki.
And that's
but,
what they want. So like you can't get mad at America, but it's just like this cycle of like
yeah.
it's
But think about it. The thing,
what's it going to take to unroll it. You know what I mean?
what people in America, I think, just don't understand is what is in their face is there for a reason. The advertising, what they're trying to sell you, whether it be food, materialistic stuff, drugs, from the pharmaceutical company, everything is in your face because that's the plan. And so many people are unaware of that, and even the people that are aware of that, it's still ingrained in our subconscious. Unfortunately, sometimes, my nights with my family, as much as healthy as we try to eat, sometimes shit hits the fan, and, we got 3 kids, and we're all, scrambling from baseball or whatever, we didn't eat dinner. What are our options at that point? Right? Whatever drive-through is open. It's not the best option, but, and we're trying to eat, semi-healthy at the drive-through, too, So, imagine how busy people make themselves, and there's no time to cook. There's, all your options of going out to eat are triple portions, and there's a McDonald's on every single corner of every single block. The odds are kind of stacked against us, I feel.
So how do we do to change this? At what point? I don't want to sound like a communist and stuff. What do you do? Do you do a tax? Do you do fast food restaurants can't advertise like the cigarette companies? I think it's atrocious that the pharmaceutical companies are allowed to advertise. We're one of 2 countries in the world that allows that, and that's a whole nother topic that we're probably all not qualified to talk about. But in my opinion, that's some scary stuff. But I don't know what the solution is, because I believe that you should have the choice, to do all these things. And I don't know. I'm interested to see I think one thing that I could just give advice to people is there's still crazy pushback with a lot of people when people try to get healthy, and people are weirdly unsupportive about it. And I hope culturally that changes and people just be more mindful. You should be super supportive of anybody who's trying to be healthy. And the education needs to come a long way. It's so hard to sort through things nowadays, and the internet's a mixed curse, because you can get great advice and great experts relative ease, but you could also be duped by a million things that sound legit that, are a joke ultimately. So
Niko, I take away from you that, number one, sense of urgency or getting to desperation, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
or at least, making yourself feel like you're in do or die mode, right? Without it actually happening, hopefully. And then support system. Sounds like you had an amazing support system and still do. And I think people, don't do that enough. And then just being extremely consistent day in and day out with the basics. Nothing sexy, no magic pill. You get 3 shakes a day and a few meals a day that you weigh out, and you're good to go on with your life. Done.
Absolutely. Trust the process and follow direction. That's
Yep.
all. That's all it is, right? I gave this expert in the field money to
Sure.
hopefully help me.
Right.
I'm gonna trust that that's what's gonna happen and just follow their direction.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
There's no.
We're so quick to buy that new car, the big TV, the nice pool in the backyard, but $5,000 to, solve all your health, weight loss and health problems. No, that's too much. I can't do that. Or $8,000, whatever it was. Can't do it. You know. But you bit the bullet and you took care of it. So, congrats, man.
And you know how much money I save on food? Because I'll make dinner and I eat it for lunch and dinner for the next 3
Yeah.
days. You know what I mean?
Seriously,
Eating
and
healthy
the
is
future
so much
bills that
cheaper.
you're going to save yourself from, being able to take care of yourself too.
And just your life.
Yeah.
I mean, your life, your health, your energy. I mean, what's the difference between quality of life nowadays than it's a couple years ago?
I don't want to get sappy, but it really is the little things. You know, I went sledding with my kids on the sled together last winter. Like, I wouldn't say I was an absent father. I was just on the sideline. You know what I mean? I was just big and uncomfortable, and I didn't have I didn't have pants big enough to fit me to go sledding, and you know what I mean? Like, it's the little things.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
it really is just being there with the kids, spending more time with them while going on a bike ride. I haven't ridden a bike in 15, 20 years. You know what I mean? I wasn't comfortable on a bike. So it really is the little things. Spending time with family.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I couldn't agree more. One of the biggest victories of the whole weight loss journey was we lived by a lake with my family and son, and we bought paddle boards the first year we were there. We were we lived there for 6 years, and it was literally half a block away. Nice little lake in Wisconsin. Bought paddle boards the first year, never used them, can never go on. And finally, the last year during the weight loss journey is the first time in my life, and I basically lived on them that summer, and it was just such a small thing, but such a big thing that I couldn't even do a few years before, and being 300 plus pounds as an adult. So then just playing tennis with my son, not being exhausted, racing him up a hill. So not being super uncomfortable on an airplane, that's been one of the best things by far.
Yeah.
It's definitely those little things that make it all worthwhile,
Well, what do you tell someone? How should they start? It's someone who's struggling and looking into different options. And
I would say to do research on the healthcare provider.
What are good questions to ask, in your opinion?
What support do you have in place? What's your success rate, I would say? Because I think I did ask that, and they were like, "Or what?" And I'm like, "Well, how many people successfully?" I'm sure you.
That's
know.
important. Why is that a out of line question? That's
because it's not I guess it is an interview, right? And
yeah, of course.
I guess being a big dude walking in the office, I'm like, oh,
dude, you're about to go under the knife. That's why, the surgery being the easy way out is the most absurd thing of all time. If you go into the details of everything that's going on and the recovery and stuff, as opposed to not going through the surgery, the surgery is the for real hard way to go.
Surgery is the painful way, right?
So the easy way out, whatever the heck that is just the most basic, simple logic of all time that makes no sense of the reality of what the surgery is.
But definitely find out, who the expert is in your area, who's done the most surgeries and what their rate is. Okay, if you've done, 10,000 surgeries, how many people has it not worked for?
Do you know statistics?
Back after a year?
What did they say?
I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But I know I did ask that question. Out of all the people, how many people gained weight back? And I think their answer was something 100% of them that didn't listen to us. So it was something like that.
Yeah.
And that, you know what I mean? So I listened. You know what I mean? And that's really what it is. Listen, follow the directions and trust the process, and just listen to your doctor. A lot of people do go on. There's other platforms that I'm in, and my doctor says this. What do you guys think? I'm like, I'm not your fucking doctor. Excuse my friend. I'm not your doctor. Listen to your doctor.
Yeah. No, it's great advice. Dr. Jason Miller, professor and a strength and conditioning coach that we had on earlier, basically said the same thing. When you're shopping for personal trainers, like ask questions, like ask like what kind of results the people got, and you know what the success rate is. And for damn sure, if you're going to be going under surgery, you should be asking these questions to your doctor. And that's great advice. And definitely ask what type of support system, because it seems like that's one of the keys in your success. So
yeah, that part sounds huge.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, they have, like a private Facebook group. I don't really go to them. Maybe I should, but they have, I think, monthly meetings too, where the patients can go and talk and ask questions about stuff. I will say this, and I didn't even touch on this. The most difficult part of this was the mental aspect for the first 6 months after surgery. And I wasn't aware of it. And I wish that was the one thing I wish they would have told me prior to. I have a fiance, and it definitely wreaks some havoc in our lives and they explained it to me after the fact. But they were like, look, you're losing rapid weight. In fat is stored, hormones are stored in your fat. So when you lose weight rapidly, those hormones are rushing in the brain, and it kind of like tweak you out a little bit. And I was really, like, especially the first month after surgery, I was really quick to catch an attitude, a little aggressive, definitely agitated. But then again, they said, they're like, look, you got to remember,
hey, I'm Greek. No,
no, your brain knows that, oh, I just had surgery. They removed 85% of my stomach. Everything's okay. But your body is saying, we're going to die. We're starving to death. Like, you've been feeding us liquid for the past 4 weeks, So that was definitely something that I wish I would have known before.
You know what's fascinating is Dusty, that I keep mentioning, had the exact same experience. And I didn't even put it together until now, because he said I don't recommend it. He had just gotten married. It was early in his marriage, and I'm gonna talk to him the next time I talk to him if that's one of the things that he was referring to, and that. So it's pretty interesting. So you're basically a little angry teenager for those first 6 months.
Yeah, you're just.
Is the testosterone through the roof? Is there any ancillary benefits?
I don't know. Lewis might have to know about that. I don't know. It was crazy a little bit crazy. You know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah. That'll be when we get Dr. Nadolski on, Lewis. We'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
I will say that I did the research, or actually, my fiance did the research after the fact. She's like, no one told me that after weight loss surgery, the divorce rate is 75%. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that either.
Wow. That's high.
Yeah, that's high.
So the relationship going good? Wedding still on?
Yeah, relationship's great. Now, I will say I would understand if it was and I don't want to talk trash about anybody, but I would understand if it was two bigger people and one of them loses a whole bunch of weight, and then that one wants to act out or whatever. Luckily my fiance is tiny, always been tiny. I was just a big dude. And it definitely was a change in the dynamic of the relationship, right? I had my role as the provider and the big dude, and she was the cute little one. And when that got flipped, not flipped that she's gained weight or anything, but it's just a different dynamic. And you gotta kind of figure out your new role. And, not so much for me, but she noticed the tension coming my way from other, and it is what it is, but you got to definitely work on that part as well.
Sure. Yeah, it's a physical and mental journey for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Niko, this was great stuff, man. Honestly, I love that you came on and shared this story, and keep up the great work, and can't wait to continue to watch your success. And yeah, we'll have to do this again in the future. Keep following up. You can be one of our success stories. inspire.
I hope to be that.
Yeah, I think you're already well on your way. I mean, you're already a smashing success, and like I said, just keep it up now, and yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, congrats, man. Congrats
Well,
on your success, and looking forward to seeing more of your social media posts and your continued journey.
well, thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate the opportunity, and until we meet again.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
thanks everyone.
Wu-Tang.